Roseville Junior High School. It's Wendy Anderson. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we're all about the St. Jude Run. That's what you just did. You guys nailed it. The pictures were amazing of all of you running in St. Jude's for the big run. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we got back August 2nd. This is my 11th year doing the St. Jude Run. I did the satellite run in Galesburg for 2 years, and then this was my 9th year doing Memphis. It's a longer event doing Memphis than the satellite runs, but totally worth it. I started in Galesburg, like I said, 11 years ago. A friend of mine, actually a parent of a player that Jeremy, my husband, coached at Abingdon, kind of got me involved in it in Galesburg initially. And of course, working in the school district, having former students and current students at the time being serviced with St. Jude kind of, drew me there too. And so my first year I ran Galesburg. The second year for Galesburg, I did a bus trip, and they offer that through the St. Jude's affiliate there or office in Peoria. And once you're on campus, like in Memphis on the hospital campus, it just kind of draws you in. And ever since I've just ran the Memphis run. So like I said, my 9th year, it was a good year. The weather was great. The last couple years, we've kind of had to dodge raindrops and storms. 2 years ago were really bad. And so we didn't have the rain. We had some heat as it was back here, but we did by Friday get some of the cool down that you guys experienced here. And I hate to even say it, but Friday night we had the run, the night segment, and it was actually cold. Like we were in blankets and long pants and sweatshirts, which seems so weird. But I don't know what it is about Friday night every year that it just cools down. And then it's, we have 2 night segment runs. So we actually, on the blue team, kind of avoid the heat of the day for the most part. There's one day we have the afternoon session that we get some heat, but, it's the end of July, early August every year. And so what do you expect, right? I would much rather have the heat, I guess, than the rain.
So you get no sleep.
You get very little sleep, yes. So the way it works, it's relay style. It's 465 miles back from Memphis, Tennessee to Peoria, Illinois. And there's 2 teams, a blue team and a gold team. I'm on the blue team, and the teams take 8-hour segments. Now, that's not to say I'm running for those 8 hours, but when the blue team is on, we sign up for run segments. And so you're running at, however many times you want to sign up to run, or you don't, maybe if you choose not to run at all. But with that being said, every time, 45 minutes to an hour, I'll say, that we switch runners, you are required to be out of the motorhome cheering those runners in. So like that 8 hours, you're constantly back and forth. Well, you're running, which keeps you active as well. But then your 8 hours off that the gold team is on sounds pretty great, right? 8 hours of sleep, but you've got to fill up the RVs. You've got to drive, down the road where you're going to take over in 8 hours. You've got to eat. You've got to have our run meeting. So sleep is very limited, and I really like my sleep. But surprisingly, in those 4 days, you can get by on little cat naps, or at least I can. I would definitely say that's a big difference between the satellite runs and Memphis run is I feel like the satellite runs, when I ran Galesburg, I was running 20, 25 miles in less than 20, like in 12 hours. Mm-hmm. In Memphis, I'm running probably somewhere between 15 and 20 miles, but over 4 days. And so it's less of a toll on your body with the running. It's more of a toll with the lack of sleep.
Okay. Now, how do you guys map out your runs? Because I-55 is awful busy.
Yeah, so we actually, we come up, is it 51?
Okay.
So we come up, the blue team crosses back into Illinois. We go through Bardwell, Kentucky, and then we cross over in Cairo back into Illinois. And then we, I want to say it's 51 that we come up through Assumption and then Decatur that way. And then we jump on 150 outside of Bloomington and go through like Goodfield and some of those smaller towns.
Makes sense.
And Morton and East Peoria to get through. So
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so glad that you do it, Wendy. It's a great opportunity to bring money as well as awareness to the great things that St. Jude's Hospital does, that campus does for families across America, including people right here who've touched us at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, we unfortunately have had several local St. Jude patients. I can remember when I did the bus trip, actually, running into Riley and Justin Thomas down there. She was down there for appointments. And then another student from Abingdon that I knew that was down there for appointments. I ran into her. One year that I ran, maybe my second year I ran into the Armstrong family. And so 8 hours away in Memphis seems a distance, right? But it's not. Like it's the things they do down there are just amazing. And one thing I said after this year is we have actual Memphis employees that join us and then run back with us. And we had, I think they doubled. Like, I think we had 15 last year and we had close to 35 this year. It is amazing to me. Like, they like put us as runners on pedestals. Like, it's amazing what you're doing. And, and I'm like, what we're doing, like you're doing it day in and day out, working at the hospital, serving these patients. And it just, their appreciation of us just floors me. Like it's because I see it the other way. I'm like, what you guys are like, what you're doing is incredible. And it's always fun to see what has taken place and what advancements they've made on campus from year to year, like just in that short 12-month time and the changes that they've made. One of the things we got to listen to this year was the director of Imagine Academy, which is their education on campus, on the hospital campus. And that hit home to me because a couple years ago, I was in contact with them with a student that was returning from being down there, and her needs and that kind of a thing. So it was very interesting for me on the education side to hear their how they go about it. And they really just bend over backwards to just try to make it as normal as possible for the patients, obviously. Not 100%, but just, try to keep them up on their education as well as they can. And it just incredible things are happening there.
We're talking with Wendy Anderson with the St. Jude's Run that finished up on August 2nd. How do people donate money to this cause? Because you guys are able to hand deliver that money.
Yes. So we all have our individual online fundraising sites that we can collect money. We can deposit checks online, cash, anything like that. You can just go to, I think it's stjuderuns.org and search a runner. We have several local runners as well. I want to give a shout out to that. It's not just me doing this. We have a lot of local runners doing the Galesburg Run. Macomb has a big group that runs. In fact, Galesburg, I think, celebrated their 40th anniversary this year, which was fun to see them run through. And I know sometimes people think like running, I can't run. They also do a Corvette drive and a motorcycle ride. And both of those, I actually think John and Melissa Wegman, chiropractors here in town, they do the Corvette ride or drive. And so there's several ways to get involved. It doesn't have to be running. And you don't have to be a runner to do the run.
Okay.
You just, it's, as the director, Mike McCoy, who created this event, we will celebrate our 45th anniversary next summer, says it's a fundraising event, not a running event.
That's so true.
It is. Like, I always, when I first got started, I was like, gosh, I don't know if I can do the running, and it's not about the running. It's about raising the money to help these children and their families. And that's really the biggest purpose of it. Doing something that, like I was saying earlier, that's bigger than me. Like, we live in small town USA, and there's ways to do things that help others in a grander way without really sacrificing a whole lot on our part. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me is being part of something that is so positive, and it's an incredible feeling. I was saying earlier that the week that you're gone for Memphis, it is an emotional roller coaster because you hear, you get to talking with other runners, with the employees. You hear their stories. You hear their whys. We make several stops on the way home. Assumption, a place called Freddy's Hill. There's a church that we stop at that a family's been running a bake sale for years and just raised an incredible amount of money. And it's those things that really hit home. And it's an emotional roller coaster of a week because you start hearing all their stories.
Sure.
And that. So
that is the good stuff, though.
yes, that is the good stuff.
I wish we had reality TV shows about stuff like that and not about like weird, wacky stuff we see.
Absolutely, yes.
It would be nice to see the Americana from that perspective of the heart and soul of the runners, like you said, as a fundraising event. I saw you. I saw Erin Olson, Michelle Thomas. Were there any other locals that you can think of?
Josie Lair, I think, ran this
Wonderful.
year.
Riley event's coming up. The color, the color event,
August
the color run.
23rd, yeah.
Yeah.
Not too far away for that. That's always a big event here in town.
Yep.
Big fundraiser for St. Jude, and big way to memorialize Riley and her battle with cancer. So
Absolutely. All right, Wendy, real quick, let's shift gears. MRJHS.
it's coming, right?
Put your hat on next week.
That's right. Yep.
What's on the agenda next week?
Next week, so teachers go back on Monday, Institute Monday and Tuesday, and then students start back on Wednesday. I have been in the building once. I love my summer, but I will be ready to go by the time students walk in on day one, and are excited to be back. Well, they might not be excited to be back in the building, but deep down, I do think they are. It's not cool in junior high to say you're excited to be back at school, right? And so, yeah, the summer, I don't know. I think summer always goes fast, but for whatever reason, this summer just flew by.
I mean, tomorrow is going to be Christmas.
Yeah, right.
At the rate, Kaylee and I yesterday, we were a month ahead on planning something. I should say I was. She's like, Vanessa, stop. It's only August. I'm like, keep thinking it's September.
It's already August, though. Like
I know.
And halfway through August almost. So, yeah, we will be ready. Excited to see the new faces come through the door, as always.
Yes. And as a counselor, what have you been reading up on training-wise this last few years, this whole post-COVID world? What are you seeing? What will you be focusing on this year?
Just overall social emotional support, realizing that every student is coming from a different space. And, sometimes students that struggle in the classroom, it's not a personal thing. They're dealing with other things and that may come out in behaviors. And so just being open-minded, supportive, meeting the student where they're at, is super important, because all of these students, you don't know what their summer was like. You don't know what they're bringing in, what burdens they're bringing in, how they feel about school. Do they struggle in school? So there's a lot to consider when supporting students. And again, junior high age is fun, right? And it can be a battle, but they all bring something unique. It's fun to get to know the new bunch, and also to see the 8th graders and how they've changed amazingly. That summer between 7th and 8th grade is
tall,
unreal.
Some of them grow like weeds, don't they?
Physical changes, mental changes, maturity, like just so many changes in that short time.
And you've got a little bit of time before basketball season. Your husband, of course, coaching the varsity at Macomb.
Yeah, a little bit. Have until I feel like it's like a year-round program now, but
pretty much it is.
Yeah. So we have a little bit. Our kids are busy in things. Restarted volleyball yesterday. Cohen's in baseball and golf. Then he'll start basketball, and Jeremy will start basketball. So we thought the summer was busy, but it's only going to get busier, which is great. I'm glad we can be active, and the kids can be involved in things they love. And I will always say students that are involved in things outside of the classroom tend to do better in school. And so I'm thankful my kids have an interest in things outside of the classroom. And I just encourage others the same way to get involved, because that's a big part of it. There's more to school than just the academics.
And we're getting back to pre-COVID numbers. My husband may have 40 out for junior high football. So we're
That's
getting
what I
back to
heard.
pre-COVID.
That's
And
awesome.
same with United. They're at 50. So
Awesome. Yeah.
we're looking forward to seeing kids back at it and get some, back to pre-COVID days.
Yeah, get off the video games
Yeah.
and get back to physical things. Yeah.
You got it. Okay, Wendy, congratulations on another successful St. Jude's run.
Thank you. I'm always thankful each year for the support of the community. I couldn't do this without fundraising. We have to raise a minimum amount of $3,000. I've thankfully been able to pledge way more than that the last few years, and it's the community support that helps me be able to even do this. So I'm appreciative for that, and appreciative to be healthy and have healthy kids that I can give back.
Okay, thank you for the inspiration. Wendy Anderson with us, St. Jude's Run, Monmouth-Roseville Junior High Counselor on WRAM.